Hello, board members. How are we doing this fine Thursday afternoon? Well, I hope, as it is Tactical Thursday, we're going to be returning to the world of Citizen Sleeper, which we are deep into the DLC of at this point. We left off last week. We started the DLCs. We were able to get through the first DLC pretty quickly, where we helped break our two new DLC character friends through the cordon for their flotilla. Then we started the second DLC, which was trying to stabilize the flotilla's people with supplies and get to know them and get them to trust us so that we can help them. Two of the three of them trust us pretty much already. The third one actually is the most not receptive to our attempts to be nice. So we'll see what happens with that, though. Where are we at on points? Okay, we got 1 point, which at this point I don't think I can actually do anything with. No, I can't. So I have to save up either 3 and get a +2 to this, or save up 2 and get this. We'll save up the 3 just for the +2. I don't think this is going to do me any good at this point. But yeah, so it's Casserola Sea. It's been a little while. It's been a little while. But I hope you're doing well. Hopefully things have calmed down a little bit for you, so life isn't quite so demanding. What do we got pressing? Help settle the tensions and find and access the Flux node. Oh yeah, the Flux node. That was the thing that our DLC friends asked us to do. I don't remember their names. I don't remember what their names were now. Like Essie and something else, they asked us to hack into this abandoned node that's become active now that the Flux, which is this kind of outward expanding EMP pulse that was originally thought to be coming from one of the dying planets from one of the flotilla ships. Turns out it's not. But yeah, let's see what we can do with this instead. Hey, audio looks like it sounds okay, so I don't have a 5, I do have a 6. Let me see what else I can do, and maybe I can re-roll like a 2, the 2 or the 1 into a 6, because it's not on a timer, so we don't need to hit it right this second. So I don't need to like worry about it per se. Okay, what do we got? Access. The more work you do for the singers, the more you get to know the crews, the more they will trust you. Okay. Okay, cool. So we can probably just start throwing stuff at this access job. Where am I on? Okay, I've got 2 things of meds. I got the scrap components thing still going, but we might need those. There's still a chance we're going to need those for things. So I'm not sure when we're going to get to that. Let me check and see where we are on mushroom stuff. Let's see. Okay, we still got a couple of these to do also. I mean, right now, there's nothing we're not getting pluses on, right? Okay, we're good on growth spores for a little bit. We have medicine and repair parts. We can get more repair parts now that we have the right skills. Okay, what else do you need from me? The Dust House has to preserve the closed biomes, and they will need shielding against the flux and protecting their... Okay, so we also have this to do. Engineering and intuition. This is a +3, so we should probably go this way. I feel like I need to settle them before I do anything else, though. They're their biggest protagonist, right? Or antagonist right now. They're the ones that are most against what's going on, and I feel like if I can settle them first, that's going to be a good spot. It probably won't matter the order, but just in case it does, I want to start here. We'll start with the 5s. Okay. That's a +2. And +2. That's a positive outcome. It's only a +2. Oh, okay. I'm thinking the other one that had a chance for a +3. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think we just throw this at it. I mean, we need food, but that's not a big issue. We can go get food pretty easily at this point. How do I want to do this? Not on a timer. I gotta remember it's not on a timer, so don't start it now when you have other things you're trying to do. Yeah, we'll just work on this for right now. We're just gonna keep working at this. This is what we have to do. When I'm bored, I go to the app where you can talk to bots of famous characters, and I cause emotional damage to them. I didn't know that was a thing. Who's your favorite character to talk to? I have never heard of this, but that sounds super, super interesting. It makes sense too, right? Like you have an AI bot, like an AI chat bot that is pretending to be like, I don't know, Alexander the Great or something, and you just go in there and harass them. That is a very weird idea. Oh, wait. Cancel that. Reroll this. Okay, a 4 and a 4. That's actually perfect. We can throw these at this, no problem. Billie Jean? Billie Jean? Wait, who's the real Billie Jean? The only Billie Jean I'm familiar with is the one from the song, and then I think there was actually a movie called, like, The Adventure of Billie Jean or something like that. I'm not familiar with, like, the real person. I'd have to Google who that is. Alright, so we need food. I need food. It's very odd to me that they have this divide that you have to go over every time. Maybe it's to help, like, hide a loading screen or something, but it's very odd to me. But let's go hang out with our friend. Not you. Where is it? Here. We can cook mushrooms with them. And we can have a nice meal. It's just kind of a tradition we've started. Perfect. You also beat them up. Well, that's not too surprising. There's been a lot of modules over the years that let you go and beat up celebrities. I mean, there was that whole show, Celebrity Deathmatch, back on MTV for a long time, right? Yeah, I like the idea of talking to them and then they, like, harassing a random AI like that. Actually sounds very, very funny. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep our thing up with this. Hopefully we're not gonna need these for anything again. We had to dump a bunch of them originally, but hopefully we can stay away from that happening.
Come down today and try some corn, or we will sacrifice your newborn.
Wow, Zet770, welcome. That is an aggressive amount of corn love. Cannot lie, that is an aggressive amount of corn love. But welcome, Zet770. How you doing? So do you remember we were talking about meat pies and savory pies the other day? What? I don't know what that's from either, Casserole C. It's just a random sound effect. Alright, but I like these a little bit better. I think we're going to throw a 5 at this. Well, we'll throw a 4 at this and we'll get this started and see what we need to do. Nothing much. What about you? I wanted to start on this early. See if we can get it done today, and if we have any time, we'll go to Underground. But, yeah, so we're going to be having two meat pies later. And I got another treat for us in the form of, I wanted to get something different to drink with this, so I picked up some, Mercado made with real sugar, Sandia sweet watermelon, inspired by tradition. So we're going to be drinking this alongside our meat pies, to be just completely different than how I usually do things. Oh dang, how much is that? Well, that's a 2-liter. This is a 2-liter of soda, but I'm not gonna drink the whole thing tonight. That would be too much. That's like 800 calories on its own. That's far too much in one sitting. Welcome, I swear I'm not an elk. Diabetes. I mean, it could get a little diabetes in here. But we're gonna be eating some meat pies along with it, so that will be less sugar and more of like carbs and fiber and protein. So it's going to be a mixed meal by the time we're done. Okay, extract the data. I can drink whole drink without problem. Oh, I can drink a 2-liter in one sitting. I've done that on stream before. Like you can go and look and find that. I just don't want to drink that many calories in one day at one time. That's a lot of extra calories on top of the meat pies we're going to be eating. Looks too sweet to even contemplate drinking? I don't know. We'll find out. Whatever watermelon flavor it is, in a traditional sense. We'll find out together, team. Let's go drop this off and see what they want me to do next. But how are you two doing? Zet, you having a good day? I swear I'm not an elk. How are you? 2-liter drink more than that. I mean, this is a 2-liter drink in the States. Maybe in other places it's not 2 liters, but this is a 2-liter here in the States. Just eat some gosh darn melon. I could, I guess, eat a melon, but I wasn't planning on doing that today. I can do that on Sunday if you'd like. And my body hates it. Yeah, you can't drink that much soda in one sitting. That's just not good for you. I was doing well until I learned that drink is this. I mean, it's just watermelon. What do you want? That's not that bad. I'm sure I could find something even worse for me to drink giant amounts of. I could go get Mountain Dew. Do you just want me to go start chugging big 2 liters of Mountain Dew? Peak asked you to help them extract data from a node in the wastes, one that appeared after the recent Flux event. All right. Let's see if we meet a new AI friend. Also, what about Citizen Sleeper? We're playing it right now. What about it? What is your question about the rather new to me? We are a AI. We are a human's consciousness duplicated and put into a robot body. We were used as basically slave labor and decided to escape. When we escaped, we ended up on this space station called the Eye, I think is what it's called. And we're trying to make a life on the Eye, dealing with all the problems that come along with it, like needing special medication so our body doesn't shut down, getting food to keep ourselves powered, that kind of thing. Mixed in with the fact that we were originally being hunted down by the company we escaped from. We're past all that now. We're just working on the DLC, which is basically posts main story content, it seems like. Ah, Mass Effect thingy? A little bit. There's a little bit of that in here. It's Full Metal Alchemist, the module. I mean, that's also a little bit of that, too, with being in an AI body and having to deal with all that and stuff. There's not really any magic, though. At least nothing that we've come across. It's all been very high-end technology stuff. Sleeper, come look at this. Peak is poring over one of the displays of the makeshift decoding suite that I've set up in the Climbing Briar's cargo bay. On the screen, a clump of data pathways, like an ingrown root ball, has started to untangle. There is magic. Look in a mirror. What? But we would just look like a robot. Robots aren't magic. Not yet, anyway. Maybe someday. Someday we'll find out that all robots are actually magic from another dimension or something. It's all being powered by a metal dragon in a parallel dimension. And that's how technology exists here or something. But for now, robots aren't magic. There's a existing node corrupted by the Flux event. It's totally twisted up. They glance at you to check you are listening. But inside, I couldn't find an emote. Magic sparkles? What about magic sparkles? Magic sparkles. But I'm assuming you two are having good days then. Let's see. But inside, he watches the unwinding pathway leaves behind patterns of negative spaces, like shadows staying behind despite their caster leaving. There's a whole other data set. Peak eyes shine bright in the pale screen light. The Flux event somehow seeds this data deep into the gaps in the node, wrapping them around it. Why? Peak pauses. I have no idea. You watch the screen, the pattern of shadows becoming obvious now as each layer of pathway is pulled away. Does a robot F like human and give birth like a human? Not that we're aware of. As far as we can tell, there's no real reproductive organs on the robots. There's been no indication of any kind of romantic entanglement with any human being so far, and nothing that implies that we have the correct organs for reproduction of any kind. Neither male or female or anywhere in the middle, no reproductive organs of any kind. And no one has actively come on to us in an attempt to, like, romance us. So that hasn't happened either. You watch the screen, the pattern of shadows becoming obvious now as each layer of pathways is pulled away. But yeah, in the future, if we had robots, people would want to have sex with the robots. That's a given. The Flux event itself really did a number on unprotected nodes like this one. Most of the eye's systems are screened against radiation and interference, but those exposed nodes. Peak makes a ripping motion with their hands torn apart. Peak points at the thick tangle of threads on the screen. Look, here. It looks like it's been tangled purposefully, but it's actually that all the points within the node have been randomly rearranged. It's as if the node was a bag of ball bearings and the flux shook them. The pathways tried to account for their rearranged once the system came back on, hence the tangle. Peak pauses as the node continues to unwind. Although, Peak muses, it was less like shaking a bag of ball bearings and more like making them all simultaneously occupy a superposition of every possible position in the bag before locking them back into a new configuration. They smile sheepishly, but that's a technicality. I mean, yeah, you're just saying big words to make fun of people, so... does any of that help us? So what is the flux? We know it is a wave, one with exotic effects, that's all. Peak runs a hand through their hair. The question is not so much what flux is, but what is causing it? Where is it coming from? Peak turns away from the screen, meeting your eyes, and there's something else. They pause. Have you spoken with the refugees? Yeah, a little bit. Peak lowers their voice instinctively. What they are reporting, massive system failures, cascading collapses of life support or terraforming systems, total data corruption. Peak swallows. The flux shouldn't do that. It can fundamentally rearrange the structure of systems, especially those poorly shielded, but totally collapsing heavy-duty industrial systems, fail-safes and all, it doesn't make sense. Those kinds of systems are built for deep space, for solar flares and radiation. The flux might penetrate them, but any reconfiguration should have been repairable. Peak looks back at the screen. Oh my god, my nose. Where the decoding node lies almost fully open, a shadow pattern of the negative spaces that exist within its scrambled interior darkens the screen, like a set of bruises showing the pattern of the object that made them. I need to look into something. I have an idea that might be causing this wave, triggering the flux, but I need time to research it. Okay, can I help? Peak shakes their head. I'm sorry, Sleeper, but I want to keep this to myself for now. If you need something to do, the flotilla could surely do with the help. From what I've heard from Essie, things are tense there. Where's Essie at? Peak glances around the bay. Must be out. I've been focused on this, so I can't say I've noticed. Although the quiet is nice. They smile. Give me some time, Sleeper. Peak turns back to the console. I'll have some answers soon enough, I hope. You take one last glance at the uncoiling node as you leave. The dark shapes in it leave behind somehow troubling. You try to shake them from your mind. There are things to be done elsewhere. Oh, okay, that's it? Oh, okay, it's on a timer. Well, that's fine. I got a 5. I think we were, what, 1 away from finishing this up? So we'll finish this up, and then we'll go work on the plants and stuff and see you get some mushroom stuff going so we can make some meds. Alright, that's going to get us copyright struck for sure. I need either a therapist or a biological book. Somewhere? What? Oh, somewhere? Yeah, the romance options going on. Look, this is the cyber future, I swear I'm not an elk. They might have figured out a way to put like a... I don't know, a half DNA... a DNA strand inside of an artificial machine that acts as sort of like an in vitro fertilization carrier that has like a micro expanding, I don't know, fluid sac in its stomach that can accept the seed of a man or something and then process that and somehow turn that into an independent child. But that's just a guess. Vaccines made my baby a cyborg. Oh my god, in the far future, that is going to be the silliest and most, like, out-of-touch thing. Oh my god. Okay, it's Peter, everyone, the guy who hates us for trying to help him. Sleeper, Peter calls to you as you cross the axis. He is standing by the same railing as you saw him at last time, and he beckons you over. I've been hearing things. He gives you a sidelong look. Okay, stay silent. Peter smiles. Don't be so nervous. He rubs his hands together nervously. You wait for him to speak. You know, on Song, I was a teacher. He glances at you, anticipating a response. Okay. I'm mechanical engineering. It's an essential subject on the moon where a single mechanical failure could mean the deaths of hundreds. Looks at the ground. The heat, the atmosphere, the radiation, all of it is hostile to us. My students knew this. Their work, their training was respected. As long as they were careful and respected Song themselves, they could have their choice of colony placements. They were always in demand. Cyborg and sex with other cyborg will just be cyborg or full-on robot? Oh, that's a good question. I guess it would probably depend. In that case, I would say it'd probably turn out to be some sort of robot. I would think. I don't think you'd have enough DNA in there to transfer over to make a full living being, but it depends. The problem with cyborgs are that what counts as a cyborg and what doesn't. Like, technically, if you got a replacement hip, you might be considered a cyborg. Or do you mean cyborg like RoboCop, where you put a human brain into a almost completely robotic body? You know what I mean? Like, cyborg is a very big sliding scale. I think it comes down to, is the cyborg still has their original reproductive organs of when they were a human, and they're interacting with another cyborg that's the same way, that you could make a human, like a living baby. But if they're two robots just mixed, yeah, so if they have their original reproductive organs, they could grow a human, I would imagine. If not, if they did mix, like it was two cyborgs with robotic parts, then I would have to imagine the best they could hope for would be, yeah, some sort of like surrogate AI baby that they could kind of program, or like learning AI kind of thing at best. Probably not anything would come of it, but there's a non-zero chance. You could see 3PO, yeah, kinda. I could see something like that happening in the far future. I think it's kind of like Futurama. Futurama, technically, robots can have relations and create offspring, even though it doesn't make a ton of sense. And even in the process of the show, it's a little ill-defined and generally not something that people like happening, but can happen. So, if you go with the Futurama logic of the future, well, robots with robots can make more robots. And, oddly enough, they can carry on their original programming to the offspring. Futurama Man sees it before. Well, there is some talk that the guy who invented Futurama is from the future, even though that's very, very silly. But I think we have annihilated ourselves as species before we figure that one out. Could be. It's hard to say. Right? Like, we've been supposedly trying to annihilate, or going to annihilate each other since, what, the 50s? And it's been 70 years now, and we still haven't gotten much closer to the situation. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where 50-50 at best, I think. Like, we could go the rest of the time and never have another nuke used in a war, and then we could all blow each other up tomorrow. It's hard to say. If I have it my way, we'll do it before I hit 30. Why? Why do you want it before you're 30? You just don't want to tell people you're 30? There's nothing wrong with being 30. I'm over 30, and look at me. I'm fine. I don't get not enough sleep. I don't eat too much. I mean, I don't do drugs. I only drink like twice a month. I don't know. I'm 21. That's fair. Nice young age. In the States, you would have just been able to start drinking. In Germany, you've probably been drinking for a few years now. I looked down today and saw him developing old lady ankles. That's because you're on your feet a lot as a nurse. You're not developing old lady ankles. You're just developing big, thick, reliable ankles. Because you use your ankles so much. Your ankles are developing, are changing to accommodate your very on your feet lifestyle. And behave like grandpa and hate people. You don't have to hate people. Some people hate people. That's just how it is. You don't have to hate people. Some old people just resent people who aren't as old as them, and they get angry about it. It happens. So it's just life, man. It's just life. Let's see. That meant I was respected, surrounded by friends and colleagues, always able to call in favors and repay them like for like. He frowns. Song colonies are small, close-knit. We look after our own. When the Flux event started hitting, colonies went dark overnight. We all knew what those kinds of failures meant. Like always, we lost more people than any of the other moons. He balls his hands into tight fists. Not a single one of my students left Song. Our future was cut off, just like that. My future. He flexes his hands. What am I out here? Why? What use am I? Song is a fading memory, and the systems we built there are useless outside its orbit. How am I supposed to move on from here? He looks at you, eyes steely gray and glinting. Sounds like you need to find someone to teach. Peter pauses, thinking. You don't give up, do you, Sleeper? You just keep going. Peter shakes his head. You remind me of a student of mine, one who entered the program from one of the smaller colonies. Didn't have the advantage of some of the others, but they were stubborn as heck. By the end of the program, they were the most skilled of their peers. They didn't get the best assignment, maybe because they didn't spend much time making the kind of connections that would help you get there. But that didn't matter, because I knew they would make the best of anything they set themselves to do. Peter is smiling now, buoyed up a little by memory. Just German people behave garbage people? What are you talking? Begnading? What? What are you talking about? Behave like garbage people. What? Okay, you're speaking in German now. So I don't speak German, so you're gonna have to carry on that conversation without my assistance. I don't speak German. Sorry, aren't clear about talking about. It's fine. You're barely talking about how angry old German people get? And I swear I'm not an elk is speaking in German, I think, which is doing me no good. I'm doing well in my Duolingo. Oh, that's cool. Are you learning? You're learning German then? I didn't realize you were learning German. I thought I remember you saying something about French. Or did you switch to German? Let's see. But that doesn't matter, because I knew that would make the best of anything they set themselves to do. Peter's smiling now, buoyed up a little by memory. Singers are stubborn, Sleeper. We aren't going to change easily. We won't forgive easily or take the help easily. But we'll hold strong. You can count on us for that. Peter stands from the railing. When you see Soul again, you can tell him how the crews of the Ember Song operate. Telling him we resist. That means resisting. Wait, what? Tell him we will resist. If that means resisting Hearth's imperialist ambition, so be it. If it means resisting the Flux, so be it. And if it means to, as you have, help others resist those same pressures, so be it. Peter smiles, and then tell him to leave us alone. Turns a step lighter and heads off towards the center of the access hub. I still don't understand why they came. They don't want help. They don't want to interact with anybody. Then why did you come at all? I don't get it. Song just says people living at the wait, what? I learned it in school and want to get back into it. Oh, Strong distrust people living at the Germany. Such a clean. Let's see. Such a clean country though. Clean. Germany is no more Germany anymore. Very well developed recycling schemes. No order. Oh, so it's become sort of lawless? There is, but laying garbage on street. Oh, okay. So you just mean like the recycling and stuff. The garbage programs are starting to get not so good, huh? Well, that's unfortunate. That's one of those things that is pretty hard to maintain. Okay, we're gonna re-roll. We're gonna do the plant stuff. We're gonna do the last two of these, and then we'll see what we got after that. Ooh, okay. Okay, this is a pretty good breakdown. We'll take this to finish. Okay. I mean, that's okay. It's free food. I would prefer to get some of the randomized ones, please. There we go. We got one of two. That's actually pretty good for us. Yeah, lawless, like 90s Russia. There would be wannabe gangster. Oh, okay. I did not know things were getting that weird in Russia or in Germany right now. Wow. All right. I mean, I don't hear much about Germany generally speaking, but I would not have guessed it gotten that bad. Huh. Oh wait, and then I can plant these, right? Okay. Okay, I've got a few cycles before I'm gonna need to do this again while that grows. So we don't need to focus on harvesting more of that. Yeah, wow, okay. Yeah, I had not heard it got that bad. Dang. I mean, you had mentioned that you had a lot of people moving to Germany and a lot of people moving out of Germany at the same time. I had not heard it had gotten that bad. That's really unfortunate. I mean, things, unfortunately, internationally right now are really rough, just due to the way the world is, sadly, but I hadn't heard that about that. I hadn't heard anything specific about Germany. Yeah, there's a ton of reasons wanted to move out of the other country. Germany is only for the rich. So it's just being low income in Germany right now is just super rough. That's fair. The States are like that kind of right now too. All of our rent and stuff is up through the roof. If you you basically have to have. You can't even have a basic full-time job and afford rent. At least not in the state I live in. Maybe there's other places. If you move to the middle of the country, you might be able to get a little bit better. But as far as I'm aware, throughout basically nationally, rent's through the roof right now. And like something like a single bedroom apartment that someone would start renting now costs as much as like a full house did 5 years ago to rent. It's gotten completely insane. And there are people, I know a lot of conservative people who think it's still like laziness and drugs. And it's like, no, the prices, the cost of living has just gotten so out of control that if you weren't already ahead, you are so far behind now, you're living out of your car. And they seem to have this weird concept that like getting a job while you're living out of your car is the same as if you have a house, even though that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, German law is so strict from having too many jobs. Oh, really? So there's actual like limits on how many hours you can work in a week and stuff, or how many jobs you can have? Yeah, I'm just gonna improving the duck house is the only way to sustain the snow. With intuitive care, the plant can be made more resistant. All right, we'll just start doing this too. Yeah, I did not know that. Huh. I mean, for better or for worse, it sounds like in this case for the worse right now. But in the States, yeah, you can basically work as much as you want. At one job, you're only meant to work for 40 hours a week, but there's ways around that from the company, and you can have as many jobs as you want. So, like, and for me, I have a full-time job, part-time job, and then I stream, which is technically like a different part-time job. So I have a lot on my plate, but, you know, that's my choice. If the dust house were to preserve, okay, yeah, we're fine with that. All right, so we're good right now. I think. Okay, yeah, we just got to get the other houses to like us, right? And then we're working on this one. Yeah, okay, so this is the last one. So they already like us. They already like us. We just got to get them to like us. Okay, cool. We can sleep here. I don't need food, so I'm not going to bother with that. I will do maintenance though. Just to keep us at 5 dice. Either 8 or 12. It's hard on you. It's hard on you have one job only. Yeah, I mean one job only is great because now you have more free time, which is fantastic. But if that one job doesn't provide you the money or the resources to maintain a good life, then it's not okay. Like that's the other balance, right? That's the other swing, is that you still need to be able to afford to live. Free time doesn't exist. What do you mean? Okay, we can keep doing this. I don't think I need 6s for anything specific right now, so there's either go to the work or don't. Well, yeah, but when you're not at work, that's your free time, right? At least that's what it means in the States. Over there, free time might have a different meaning. Wow, what a perfect breakdown that was. All right. Cool. Bam. Silk Song saved? Let's see. You and Aki stand side by side at the viewing window in silence. The dust swirls and you glimpse the twisted root system of the steppe silk through the orch haze. After all the cycles, you feel a strange connection to a world on which you have never set foot. Aki shifts from foot to foot. She seems restless, eager to speak, but unsure what to say. Free time is for eating or toilet and go to work. Go to work. Are you done? Go to work. Are you done? Oh, okay. So for you, free time is like your breaks at work and stuff. Ah, okay. So yeah, in the States, you're at work. Anytime you're not working while you're at work, you're on break. And then after work, when you're not at a job, that's your free time. So I think our terminology is a little different. Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So in the States, we just call it a break, whereas free time is basically all your time that you're not at work. All right. This house looks good. We did it. We did it. Aki smiles at you warmly. We did. She pauses and turns back to the window. What is the value of all this, she asks suddenly, of preserving a world we have left behind? Conversation, heritage, history. It's history. I is silent for a moment, but history is dead. It is a dead thing. These plants, these ecosystems, they still live. They are no more history than you or I, she pauses. As long as we keep living, we are more than just his history. Aki paces away, lost in thought. I'm grateful to you for helping protect the dust house, for ensuring their slide into decay is delayed, even averted, but now I find myself at an impasse. The stability of the dust house changes things. It makes me aware of how blinkered we have been. Blinkered? Aki stops to look at you, her posture somehow different. If the ecosystem is steppe, if its people cannot grow to meet the future, why preserve it? She frowns. Are we just slaves to the perception of what came before? Not slaves, inheritors. You can change. I don't understand. You can change. Comes close, holds her hands in hers. We must change. We must change to live, she smiles. I have seen that in you. The steppe, these people, this ship, should serve more than heritage, than history. It should serve the future, she takes a breath. Though there are those in the flotilla that need clothes, that need food. They can benefit from the gifts of the steppes ecosystem. I want you to invite them. Can you do that for me? How? I know that Soul sent you, she smiles. You can tell him Aki, captain of the Wind's Long Shadow, invites all the people of the flotilla to come. Captain? She smiles. You never asked. Aki steps away. You want to know about the flux? No? About its purpose, its origin? She smiles. You wish to protect your home as we could not? I'm afraid I don't have much to tell you. It is an exotic wave of sorts. Energy that passes through matter. It shifts the very charged particles which run through our electrical systems. It is possible to shield against it, as you would radiation, as we have done with the dust house, but only while it is weak. The flux emit here was much like the first ones we felt on the Ember Steppe, localized, destructive, but bearable. But in time, its strength grew. I don't know if it will be the same here, but, she pauses, it is coming from the center of the system, from the close orbit of Helion's star H1. That is all we could uncover. She is silent for a moment, unsure of what to add. I'm sorry I cannot offer more, but you are always welcome on this ship, she smiles. I hope we'll see you when the others come. She squeezes both her hands. I hope this ship, these dust houses, can be more than a museum. I hope they can be a home. With this, she turns and leaves, and you feel the word home resonating within you as a struck bell. The boss who can change it any time is really rare. The boss who can change it any time is really rare. I mean, being able to adapt to new situations and different changes is a big part of life. Some people handle change really well and some people don't, unfortunately. I try to keep an open mind and accept change as it comes. Obviously, between when I was little and the things I was taught up until like Basically, this early 2000s until now have changed pretty radically about the world and what is and isn't acceptable, and I've tried to take that in stride. I think I've done a pretty good job of it. Alright, what do we got now with Mr. Soul? When you arrive at the bridge of the Pilgrim Seed, Soul is waiting for you. Pragmatic refugee leader. You wouldn't believe the messages that have been come through in the past few cycles, Sleeper, he smiles. The ship from Steep has sent a goodwill gesture, a whole cache of supplies from their own farms, he smiles. I'm not sure how we'll use them, but the gesture is a welcome one. Song, meanwhile, are apparently accepting supplies again, although a little reluctantly, I may say so, Soul smiles. I don't expect them to change anytime soon, it should be said. And what I'm wondering, Sleeper, is what part you had in all this. Soul eyes you, waiting for an answer. I helped where I could. I've come to accept that of you. Expect that of you, Sleeper, he smiles. You look at Soul, his eyes bright and eager, and wonder what he sees in you. Are you a tool to be used or an ally? It can be hard to tell. I wanted to show you something. Soul squeezes your shoulder, turning you to face the lift. I can adapt everything, but is too much is too much. That's true. That's the other part of it is when is adapting to something, what is the limit, right? That's definitely a different thing. I've been listening to a podcast, and it's a fictional podcast about a fictional character, I guess is how I should describe it. But he basically doesn't tell anybody no ever, and it's costing him like his marriage and like parts of his life. And basically he is letting, like, the guy who cleans his pool, he's let move in with him with his wife and kid. The main character's wife and kid are living with his father-in-law. His life is basically coming apart because he just can't tell people no. He just like refuses to tell people no or upset people. So that's the other side of adaptability, right? Like, being able to accept change is important, but being able to know where the limit is on how much change is appropriate and what you can accept should be accepted is the other side of that, right? Like, change, like governmental change, for example, is figuring out, right, what needs to be changed and make things better, and understanding who we're trying to make things better for. Like, the States has a problem right now where all the major changes that's been going on for a long time or kind of headed in the direction of change to make life better for people who already have a very good life, and the high-end 10% people, 10% like the richest people, which is a choice. I don't think it's a right one, but that's, you know, that's your opinion. But it's about figuring out what is important and what changes are affecting who, right? So, I don't know. I personally think it would make more sense to aim for a wider effect on people and trying to help more people, not less, but I don't know. I'm also considered a liberal in my country, so that's just my bias, I guess. Let's see. He leads you along the axis of the ship towards the engines, the clanking of his suit accompanied by the constant hammering and the welding that fills the echoey bulkheads of the Pilgrim Seed at all hours. Wait, why are they doing so much maintenance all the time? With the cordon lifted and shuttles able to go off to salvage scrap and barter for supplies, the ship has become a place of transformation, moving towards some state yet to be revealed to you. You look at Soul. What is his plan here? What is he preparing the Pilgrim Seed for? Or are his sharp eyes simply focused on making it through the next cycle? Suddenly, Soul stops in front of the huge bulkhead door, like the seal at the front of a dry dock hangar. He signals to someone in a cabin high up, attached to the wall, and they begin the process of opening it up. The Pilgrim Seed was built as a short-range freight carrier, you know. The amber warning lights of the bulkhead door send spinning shadows across Soul's face. We built it to ship the entire harvest from thousands of farms to the silos at Pasarua. Oh wait, hold on. I mean, that's a perfectly acceptable word. In fact, I think we've used that word before. It's the F word. I don't know why that got bleeped out. Let's see. Automatic. Yeah, they didn't like the F word for some reason, which is odd because I swear people have put F word in here before. Yeah, change. The common people are more needed than rich people. Yeah, it's a weird choice. I don't really understand it. It's just, it blows my mind how many people feel that that's the right thing to do. That somehow making laws and changing things that make it easier for rich people to stay rich and harder for everyone else to get rich is somehow the right thing. But I don't know. They have a thought process that is different from my own, and that's all I can say about it. That's all I know. Let's see. Range Trader, the Amber Warning. We built the ship to the entire harvest from thousands of farms to the silos at Passeria. When we realized we'd need to leave it, it was the biggest ship we could muster. Soul raps on a metal plate. Somehow, she's carried us all the way out here. You led the evacuation? Me? He laughs. Not even close. I was a farmer, had a whole load of land and people to run it. My people helped convert this place from the long trip. Looks at his feet. Others led, organized the evacuation, and debated the plan. What happened? Not one of those folks made it. Soul rubs his forehead. We were out in the black a long time before we got here, Sleeper. Things happen. The upshot is I was chosen to take over. I guess my crew trusted me and I knew the ship. I argued, reminded them I'm no leader and that I'm sick. But, well, when service chooses you, a loud klaxon sound indicating the bulkhead doors are ready to open. They groan as they slide back, the metal squeals echoing through the vast ship, bouncing off its hard-plated walls. At first, all you see is darkness, then the lights go on, and huge strips that stretch back and back as far as you can see. The space in front of you, a vast bay, bigger than any you have ever seen, is empty. When we left Hearth, we didn't have the time or resources to convert the entire ship. Soul begins leading you into the massive space. So much of the freight space was sealed away, shut down. Now we have time, we have resources, we stabilize here, at least for the moment. Soul turns to you. Now is the time we make use of all this, okay. But now we have time, we have resources, we stabilized here, at least for the moment. Soul turns to you. Now is the time we make use of all this. What are you planning? What do you think happens next for the Eye, Sleeper? Soul sighs. The flux has already hit one part of the station. For what I know, it'll hit again. On Hearth, we lost everything. There isn't much time, Sleeper, but there is enough time to do something. Think of the number of people who can fit on here. Farming stacks, the housing. Heck, we can plant some of those mushrooms you love so much. This is the way forward, the only way. We need to fill this ship with the able bodies and head for the starboard belt. I thought the Eye was your destination. It was until the flux hit here. Now it's just another stop. I'm glad of the chance. Okay, again, this is a weird translation or whatever this is. I'm glad of the chance to resupply and salvage, but we need to go further out. In English, this should translate to I'm glad for the chance to resupply and salvage. I'm glad of the chance is kind of, it's like, it's technically correct, but it's grammatically wrong. It's very odd. I want you to help me. You know the Eye, you have connections, and you can work hard. I've seen it. Soul meets your Eye. I know you were like me, Sleeper. You didn't choose service, but it chose you. There are other ways. If you know them, go ahead. But I'm telling you, this is the opportunity we have now. I know it's a lot to think about, Sleeper. Trust me. Soul begins to lead you back out of the bay. But think of what we can do here. The village can't last forever. We need more than just farmers to make this work. We need to build a new world for ourselves. I heard that out there in the belt, there are people who's been setting up since the collapse, making something of their own. That's our future, tucked away in those rocks, far from all this. Soul sighs. I didn't bring my people here just to let them die somewhere new. Soul crosses back over the threshold of the bay and signals for the operator to close it up. The door groans and Soul waits for it to stop. Think about it, Sleeper. Soul claps an arm on your back, but don't wait too long. This is happening soon. And he leaves you there in the silence of the vast bay, your head spinning with the thought of leaving the Eye. Oh, we actually got a point from that. Well, call me surprised. Alright. Well, we'll save that point until we get to 3. Okay. Well, that happened. Peak is researching something to do with the flux event and seems totally absorbed. They'll let you know when they are ready. Am I missing something? There's nothing else to do here? Didn't he just tell us we need to get supplies together? Okay, well, I guess I just start getting as much food and supplies as I can. Scrap components? I guess we just start doing some scrapping, team. I don't know. I don't love this, but this is why I want to get the Endure to +2. Let's see what happens. Okay. Ooh, wait, we lost energy and condition? Why did that happen? I don't like that. Oh, because we're starving. Because we're starving. That's my bad. That's on me, team. That's on me. That's my bad. I didn't realize what I did there. I didn't realize it. My bad. Why is it so loud? Turn that down a little bit. So much jet noise going on. Now let's take another swing at that then. I'm guessing that means we just need to build up like mushrooms and some like scrap components. Since scrap components seems to be the generic term for all general supplies. Okay. Wow, that took 2 energy for that? Oh my god. Wow. I did not expect to get that hosed on that. Okay. Dang. I mean, we'll repair ourselves and try to keep ourselves in the 5 zone for now. I guess I'll go cook some more mushrooms with my friend. At least that'll give us 2 days worth of energy. Hopefully. Ugh. That's brutal. I did not expect to take that much energy damage. And I think that's technically what they call it, right? Because it feels like energy damage is something you have defenses against in D&D, but not in this case. Alright. Okay. We got a 4, a 6, a 1, a 1, and a 2. Ugh. I wouldn't call that great. Where are we? Okay, so I mean the 6 is a guaranteed success. Oh wait, let me check and make sure there's nothing else weird going on over here. Which it doesn't look like there is. Oh, this is just... Oh wait. Oh, okay, yeah, this just counts as a house. Never mind. Okay. Okay, so yeah, we just need to... I think we just keep building up supplies. Cool. 50-50. Okay. And we'll re-roll the 1, 1, and 2. Okay, a 5, a 4, and a 1. Alright, I'll take that. Okay. I think this will give us food. Yeah, this gives us food. One way or the other, this gives us food. I'm worried that if we get a negative here, it's going to affect our condition, though. Already done a reroll, which sucks. Condition or energy. I mean, I guess it says it's safe. We'll just do this. Negative outcome, but we still got +2 energy. Okay, great. You're assigned to work in the dorms, cleaning and repairing. It isn't the best work, but the meal at the inn is welcome when it arrives. Perfect. Alright. Come on. Another neutral outcome. Come on, you're killing me with this. Ugh. That was several neutrals in a row. We are not having good luck with our dice rolls today. What am I doing? I need... Okay. That'll keep us energized for a couple days. Or a day. We're very slowly making progress. Once that other ship shows up, we can just go buy stuff. That'll be nice. Okay. That'll keep us at 5. Okay, we got a 5, a 6, a 5, a 1, and a 2. Interesting. Alright. I mean, that works well for this. Because I legit don't know how much supplies we actually need to pull in for this to work, but... Okay. We're up to 13. Hopefully it's not more than, like, 15. That would be really nice if it's not more than 15. It's hard to say for sure. And to think if there's anything else we need to go do over there. I don't think there is. We'll re-roll these and see what we get. Ooh, a 6 and a 1. Okay, that's a pretty notable upgrade. So we can work in here to get some free food. Energy. Okay, that's fine. Okay, then where is... Okay, this ship's here right now. Awesome. So we can just buy all of these. With a 20% discount. There we go. Let's get this up to 15. Trying to remember where we make the most money now. It's 24. It's mushrooms. That's not really what we're doing. Can't remember if this guy gets us more money or not. No, it's less money. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember. Because I know for a while it was the Ord Exchange was the most money. I don't think there's anything else we have to do for work, so... Yeah, that might be our best bet. So we got to stay a little bit ahead on money. It's not the most important thing, but it is important. Plus we can get, I think, something else from the intuition thing. I don't remember what it is. I think it's a free energy sometimes. It's fine. We're very ahead on our spare parts. Okay, we can go harvest mushrooms next time, which could also get us another medication, which is very good. No. Oh, that's a work assignment. That's the wrong building. I walked into the wrong building and started trying to use self-repair. Okay, perfect. All right, I think our mushrooms will be ready to harvest this cycle. Okay, a 2, a 3, a 3, a 1, and a 5. Interesting breakdown. Yeah, we can just do this. Oh, we got 2 of the Matsaki caps. Interesting. I really want another one of these, please. I think we got another Matsaki cap and one of the grill caps, which is fine. Maybe not optimal, but it's fine. Nothing. Gosh darn it. I'm gonna re-roll these. Ooh, a 4 and a 5. That's a full upgrade right there. Cannot be upset about that. Well, I could be. There's no reason to be. We need 2 more of these so we can start the harvest again. That's the downside of relying on these clubhead caps, is that we can't reliably get them. If there was a reliable way to get them, I would prefer that. You just have to kind of hope on randomness, which I don't care for. Alright, so that takes care of that. And go grab... Yeah, I mean, I have the mushrooms for food, so we'll go grab a spare part. And then... Okay. We can go cook for food. Oh, it only costs 1 of these to do this? Alright, I don't have much use for these, so that's fine. I think they're both worth the same amount. Yeah, awesome. 2 days worth of energy. I'm assuming the next part of this quest isn't going to start then until this is done, so we got 2 cycles before this happens. Yeah, once I get this last point, we'll just put this to a +2. And then if we do happen to get any more points from this, we'll just try to finish up this. I don't know if we can max out the character or not, but I guess we're technically trying. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot I can go make another ship mind. I don't know if we're going to need those or not, but occasionally they get requested, so... Okay, we got a 5, a 6, a 1, a 2, and a 2. I don't know if I'd call that the best thing ever, but... It's not bad. Slightly below average, I think, if you added it all up, but... The Ort Fabricator. Okay, now we got 2 ship mines, if that's ever, I don't know, relevant for anything. Okay, that's cooking. Got next cycle on this. I guess we just go harvest supplies. I mean, it's easier for us to go and start doing a bunch of mushroom gathering for food than it is to do this. I'm going to re-roll the 1s and 2s. Okay, for 1, 2, 2 turn into a 2, 5, 3. That's not too bad, actually. Okay. This is a little risky, but... Okay, that's fine. And we'll go get a free meal from here. Positive or negative doesn't matter. We just get 2 energy. Cool. Alright, sweet. And then I can repair myself in the cycle. See, this is that whole... On the eye, we know how to keep ourselves alive, and if we took any of the other endings except for the one where we uploaded our consciousness into the giant robot, the giant plant AI thing, we would just die. They did not take into account that you need the medicine and there's no access to medicine on any of those other exits. But we got a great breakdown here. 5, 6, 6, a 2, and a 2. That's a very good breakdown. Let's go check and see what's next on this quest, and then we might be able to make some good progress today with it. Have you heard of Can Channel, Sleeper? Peek asked as soon as you enter the bay, as if you were in the middle of a conversation. There are heavy circles under their eyes, and you aren't sure if they've moved since you last visited. The console they are working at seems to have grown too, shadowing their slight frame in a wealth of screens and wires. Can? You mean for transit? Yes, exactly. Peek turns to face you. Kiyomani's active navigation, the name of the effect used to transport trillions of tons of materials from the surrogate system to the core. You might have heard of it in your physics classes. At XPR, they hammered the principle into us as kids can. Peak recites the definition as if in the classroom. A process of collapsing spatial causality. Hold on. A process of collapsing spatial causality along the Euclidean distance between 2 points by negating mass simultaneously at both ends of a geodesic curve. That is a very odd way of describing a teleport. Essentially, Kahn channels allow for the near instantaneous transport of raw materials between systems. They require huge volumes of energy, of course, and decades of construction. Once a Kahn channel is established, it opens up a system for infinite exploration. The backbone of surrogancy is what XPR called them. Peak shakes their head. They might not be able to send anything more complex than a rock through them, complex machines and people, shall we say, reconfigured by the process, but for raw, molecularly pure materials, Peak flicks a hand. Whoosh. Where is this going? Peak pauses. What I was trying to find out was whether the Hylian system, this system, ever had a Kahn channel. Kahn channels are vastly expensive to build, to run. Not every surrogate system has one. Many use fraction drive ships to transport their materials to the nearest hub, but Solheim, Peak smiles, Solheim spared no expense when they established this system. There's a Kahn channel? Yep, Peak eyes light up. They shut it down before the collapse. They couldn't run the sender receiver station anymore, but it was there. It still is, as far as I can tell, closely orbiting our star. In fact, Peak grins, they've been building to this. I'm sure it's still there because one of the issues with Kahn channels are the massive waves of exotic energy that can produce when cycling up. The flux? Exactly. Peak's face suddenly drops. Someone is starting up the channel. Why? Peak sucks in a breath. That, I don't know. They start counting off information on their fingers. They need a lot of resources to do it, and they need to have people from the core systems. But there's no real large-scale extraction in the Hylian system anymore, so why would you go to the trouble? Just to trigger the flux? Peak rubs their red eyes. The flux, the wave the Kahn effect produces, is a side effect, a problematic one, but it isn't a destructive force. If it was, the core systems would have never been able to use it. So then why are colonies collapsing because of it? Why is it chewing through systems, the kind of industrial systems set up to function within the ranges of once active Kahn channel? Peak is getting frustrated. The moons of Ember have been terraforming since before the collapse. They would have had to deal with the flux. Yet everything we have heard from the refugees says it's brought down every system they had. Peak falls quietly, thinking it all through. Your mind drifts too, thinking of the Kahn channels, those vast causal highways that prop up the core systems and their endless appetite for resources. This system has been quiet for decades. Solheim collapsed, most corporations gave up their claims, and apart from the Cilia ships that came to begin work on the Cinderella Horizon, no one from the core has come here in all that time. You shiver as you imagine the attention of the core, the system of logic and exploitation that created your suffering, turning towards the Hylian system, a floodlight turned to the dark corner. A shrill beep catches both of your attention and Peak rushes to a screen, one showing a crude map of the station. On it, individual markers begin to flare up with insistent chirps. Pete looks puzzled for a moment and then their face drops. No. They lean in close. This doesn't make any sense. What's happening? The flux nodes are appearing elsewhere on the station. Peak pulls at their hair. I set this system to alert me to other flux nodes near the epicenter of the flux event, but there are everywhere. The hub, the low end, the shipyard. How can this happen? The only reason we saw flux nodes here is because it was the most rundown part of the station. They were barely shielded, but others appearing so far after the event? Peak turns to you. You're going to need to get me the data from those nodes, and quickly. I'll keep looking at what I have here, but I need to know why they are popping up everywhere. Right now? Right now! We can talk more about Kahn channels and system history when you are back, but this needs our attention right now. He turns quickly back to the monitor, their eyes following scrolling screens of code, spewing from the newly fluxed nodes. You leave quickly, but struggle to shake the image of the spotlight from your mind. You feel watched as you cross the back into the Pilgrim Seed, on your way to Shuttle Bay. to a shuttle bay. You hurry onward, eager to outrun the fear. Interesting. Okay. So what does this actually got? Okay, we just got to go get 3, which we have the resources to do probably right now. Where did she say they were, though? Usually we don't get anything in here because of the plant system. I think it would be interesting if they brought back the AI for that, but... Using Bluetooth desk computer to send file my phone to able to use music. Nice! There you go. That way you don't have to store all the music on your phone and eat up a bunch of space on it. You can just wire it in from your computer. We'll just throw a 5 at this. Extracting the data. We got 1 flux node. Okay, there's the next flux node. Oh, it wants different numbers. Ugh. I should have maybe waited then. It's okay, there was enough overlap, we're all right. Hopefully the next one also will accept a 6 or a 2. I didn't think to check that. Alright. Just metabytes? Metabytes? What do you mean metabytes? Okay, good. This will accept a 6. We almost were in trouble. I thought it was going to need a 4. Alright. Extract the data. Working. Alright. Bam. There's all the data we need. We're just into the rim. Just small data. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, songs aren't huge, but still, that's less stuff you have to store on your phone. Alright. So, we can turn this stuff in. And bam. Pete loads the data into the decoding setup. I'll just be a moment. Don't leave, sleeper. Though is music. Yeah. Like I was saying, songs aren't normally huge, but if you have enough of them, they can start to add up. And anytime you leave anything on your phone, it's always kind of a pain in the butt. Most phones don't have a ton of space, unless you buy some of those crazy, huge, like, insertable SD cards, which have become more reasonable recently, over the last couple years. Watch as Peak works on the flux data, the nodes unfolding like flowers now, giving into Peak's increasingly sophisticated decoding protocols. Seeing data like this as an image of a screen is an almost unrecognizable presentation to you. There's nothing like swimming among nodes and threads. Despite this, Peak has proven themselves to be more than able to handle these complex data structures, even through this limited representational paradigm. The bay door hisses, interrupting your flow of thoughts. You turn to see Essie's entering. Rough day? She looks up and meets your eye, but doesn't respond. Essie stalks into the bay, head down. She looks tired and not in a mood to talk. How's the weapon hunt? Peak asked without turning from their screen. Oh, that's right. She brought a bunch of explosives onto the ship with her, and someone stole them. Slow, unsuccessful, tedious, as she slams a bag down on a crate and hops to sit on it. You still unpicking balls of yarn? With the sleeper's help, Peak smiles. They brought me some good stuff this cycle. Maybe they could help you find those weapons you were smuggling. What is annoyingly faulty battery life, die quickly. Oh, yeah. I mean, depending on what kind of your phone, that's also a gigantic pain in the butt to replace the battery. I had a phone, the phone I had before the one I have now was like that. The battery had gone most of the way out of it. So it was probably getting about 60% of what it used to have when I first got the phone in regards to battery life. Luckily, the one I have now seems to be holding strong. It's a couple of years old, but it's still doing okay. Look at that, Essie doesn't appreciate Peak's tone. Still looking? Uh-huh, Essie replies. Whoever took them better be making the most of their rapidly shortening lifespan right now. Peak cuts in without looking away from the console. We talked about this. This is my mistake, Peak, and I'll fix it how I want. As she folds her arms. I know one of the factions on the flotilla has taken them. I just need to find out. Peak holds up a hand. Shh. They lean in towards the screen. Son of a... What? They hid in the wake of the wave. Peek is whispering to themselves, it's alive. They lean back into their chair as she crosses over to look at the screen. Alive? Well, it's growing. It's processing. It's quickly working away in the dark. Look. Cross over to the screen and stand beside Eshi. In it, you can see that Peek has all 4 nodes decoded, and the pattern of the shadows from inside them sit on the screen like dark stains. Oh, dark stains. Then you notice it, the movement. The thin threads cross from one station to another. As you watch, you notice that the movement only ever happens in your peripheral vision. And that this thing, this shadow, knows it is being watched. This is how the other flux nodes appeared. Peek rubs their eyes. They weren't fluxed by the wave. They were corrupted after the fact. This thing, this shadow that entered in the wake of the wave, it corrupted them. But it made the corruption look like the result of the flux. It's a sleight of hand. Peek runs a hand through their hair. The flux wave is so massive, so complex, that it opens up the systems to be attacked. As it reconfigures exposed systems, this shadow is broadcast implemented inside. The wave from the con channel is a brute force wave hitting every system in Helion. Once the systems are vulnerable, Peek looks pale. Their eyes reflect the screens. The flux isn't what is attacking the system. It's a siege weapon, a Trojan horse. This thing takes over. Peek sits back in the chair. And it's already on the eye. Wait. As she rubs her forehead. You were telling me there's a con channel in this system? Garbage. Peek isn't listening. This is bad. We have to take this to someone. Peek looks desperate. Helene? Or Sol? I don't know. I don't remember who Helene is. Oh, Helene is the lady from who works for the company. I feel like we should take this to Helena, because she might be able to get something done from the eye before it gets too far along. I don't think Sol's gonna know what to do with it. But Helena, is that wise? As she cuts in, Havagen hasn't exactly made good decisions lately. Whether the station's administrator, as Peek is desperate, they need to know. It's true. That's why I said we need to talk to them, is so they can find out about this. It's kind of important. I don't like the crust on this much, so I'm going to just crunch it up and mix it in with the gravy. And now, I will admit that none of this is like shepherd's pie. This is just an American pot pie, as we call it around here. Shepherd pie was an option, but I've had good homemade shepherd pie before, and I figure there's no way a box frozen meal is going to stand up to that. It's very good. I would say the only thing with it is I continue not to care for the crust. I don't know why I don't like the crust on pot pies, I just don't. It's not the texture, it's like the texture mixed with the unique flavor of it that just for some reason my mouth is like, this is below mid. Oh, also I can get one of these in there, which, this is that small one.
Ooh, floor pie.
No, I will not be eating my pie from the floor. Thank you very much. This little one's actually pretty good. It has like a garlic or something mixed in with it. It's got a very different flavor than the American one. Yeah, I think I like the crust on the Canadian one better, but the actual meat and potatoes inside aren't as good as the stuff from the Marie calendars. So I think if they were to switch the meat from the Marie calendars into the other one, that would be the sweet point, I think, for me. So the Canadians make a better crust, but I don't care for their meat as much. And clip that as needed. I don't care for Canadian meat. Clip it as needed. Biting into that thing, though, that did make a mess. Turns out meat pies aren't designed to be eaten with your hands. Who knew? Probably a lot of people. Alright, Alright, the argument rages between them, and as you watch them shouting, you feel sick. After a while, they stop, running out of things to say. An unsettling silence descends on the bay. I need more time, Peak says quietly. I need to look at solutions, try to build a case, collate the evidence. We messed this up. They look down at their hands. She goes to speak and then thinks better of it. Not a word, Sleeper. Peak meets your eye. Don't tell anyone until they are ready, they sigh. With the tensions among the refugees, Sol won't be ready to hear this, and Helene and Havinge are still marred in some kind of crisis. We tell Havigen they are likely to react badly, and even with the flotilla stabilized, Sol is also not going to react well to this. I need time to build a case. You two are twisted up in this Peak. You are too twisted up in this Peak, as she says quietly. This is not our place. We don't owe... Stop, Eshi. Peak slumps in their chair. Stop. Leave them like that, exhausted and troubled, and head back out into the Pilgrim Seed. When you close your eyes, you think of those shadows, the movement at the edge of your vision. Something dark, growing in the station like a parasite. You feel sick. Your vision blurs. What comes next? You stop in a corridor and take a breath, putting a hand on a rumbling metal wall. For now, the eye keeps spinning. For now. Okay, so... we have a way to dealing with that? We know the AI in charge of the ship. He's a friend of ours. There's no actually, I take that back. We know 2 different AIs that are in charge of 2 different parts of the ship. Also, we got our 3 points, so let's upgrade this. Bam. There is absolutely no reason at this point why we shouldn't be able to go talk to one of our AI friends and help them fix this. We have the knowledge and the skill to make this happen. There's no reason we can't. Oh, we actually... okay, so we completed the second DLC. All right. Once you send the data... once you send the data, episode Purge and the final series of events on the Eye will begin. At this point, you will not be able to return to the complete other drives or find other endings. Make sure you are ready. Okay. We are out of drives to do. We have no active drives right now. We've literally done everything else this module has given us to do. So, if we're going to end it, this is it. We're going to get an ending at some point today. Okay, so yeah, the last bit of this is we got 2 turns of, like, standing around with nothing to do. And then we're good. Alright, let me, I'm going to re-roll these 2s. Okay, a 1 and a 4. It's a net gain in points, I think. Oh, that'll take my condition down, though. What do I want to do here? Let's do this for food. Ooh, we got the negative outcome, but... oh, the Thrill Seeker gave us an extra 1. Okay, nice. Alright, let's go do this, then. We'll lose an energy. But that's okay. Yeah, we can go cook mushrooms, though. Go hang out with our friend. Make up the food. We'll repair ourselves, and then we'll end the turn. And then next turn is just, you know, free time. Our Robo-Life free time. Oh, we haven't visited our cat friend in a while. Hold on. Feed the stray cat. I hope this was building to something, but it doesn't seem like it is. It seems like it's just something to do once you run out of other things to do. Something to burn money on, basically. It's a pretty good breakdown. A 1, a 3, a 2, a 5, and a 5. We can definitely make this do some work for us. But we'll go gather supplies. We'll go gather supplies. Because we got 2 guaranteed 6s here. I'll grab some energy first. Oh, we actually got a positive outcome. Not that it matters. To work in the grow beds among the plants of Earth, you like it out here. The green shoots are reward enough. So the good or bad is just how much that day of work sucks, I guess. Okay. Well, that's only going to be a 4, isn't it? I think we might take a chance here and re-roll both of these. Let's hope for a 4, a 5, or a 6 on one of these, please. Here we go. Oh, Snake Eyes! We got trashed. We got trashed, team. Oh no! We got wrecked. Absolutely demolished on that one. I'm trying to think if we have anything safe to do. Yeah, we got absolutely trash bagged on that. Oh, working the stacks is apparently safe. We can do that. I'm trying to think what else we could do with ones. I guess I could try hacking some accounts with ones. And just make some money with it. Because that's safe. It's not a dice roll. You're just paying for the advantage or whatever. Yeah, like that. One data item gained. And another one. Perfect. Yeah, we can sell these and make some cash off of them. It's a cheap, easy thing to throw ones at. Oh, we got an extra one because of our icebreaker perk. Okay, I think Havogen will buy these. I just don't know how much they actually give us for them. Shipment is rare in the eyes, so the shipyard is happy. Shipyard is happy to pay for shipment fragments that can be dismantled and reused. Huh. Okay, start action. Oh, it's only 10? I mean, I guess it's something that we did with a 1, so it's fine. And we can use the cash. I don't think we're going to need more of those, hopefully. Hopefully Yadavigen or whatever Yadagen isn't going to fight us on trying to save the eye where they all live. But sometimes you get those stupid characters who are like, I don't care that the building's blowing up. I still want to fist fight you. It's like, you're an idiot. All right. That was something we did, team. We'll repair, sleep, and then tomorrow we can start the DLC. Yeah, we should be good. Now we have medicine. We have 2 doses of medicine. Okay, not a great breakdown. A 2, a 2, a 3, a 1, and a 6. Oh. Sleeper, Peak is waiting for you in the corridor. It's time. Peak looks pale and disheveled, with heavy marks under their eyes and strands of hair sticking to their face. For what? He smiles weakly. Nice try, but we can't dodge this. Peak holds up a thumbnail-sized drive. All the data I have compiled on the Flux event, the effects of the wave, and the structures that hide within it is on here. You look at the tiny drive, a casket of dark secrets. I've anointed it to the best of my abilities. Anyone should be able to understand the threat, the potential in this. Peak size. It makes for grim reading. Without intervention, the eye will suffer a cascading collapse of systems, just like the colonies of Ember's moon. You sure? Peak grimaces. As I can be, the evidence all points in one direction. Peak looks at this. This shadow in the flux, this protocol, is so hard to pin down. It adapts to any countermeasures I have tried to deploy. It's like trying to hold water in a cage. It slips straight through. You must keep looking. Peak closes their hand around the drive. We need help, Sleeper. This is about everyone on the station. They sigh. We have to set up a meeting to tell someone who can do something about it. Colleen? Perhaps, Pink pauses, if anyone can protect the eye, it's Havogen. but their internal politics will make it hard for them to act. Will they even listen to us? Or perhaps, Peak adds thoughtfully, we've been thinking about this all wrong. Peak's eyes glint. Why make a choice when we can tell both of them? Why pick a side when the only side in the entire thing is one we all need to take? Peak speaks as they think, their words barely keeping pace with their thoughts. We need to resist this together, or we fail. We need everyone on board, Sleeper. Peak smiles. This is the only way. We send the data to both. You were right. That's 100% correct. This is not like one side wins or the other loses. We all lose or we all win on this one. Peak smiles. I'm glad to see it too. They look away. Another flux event is coming, I'm sure of it, and I'm not sure we can survive without help. Peak opens their hand and holds the drive out for you to take. You need to do this, Sleeper. I can't. You know Sol, you know Helena, they trust you. To them, I'm just another spacer, but you are part of this place. Hearing someone else say it hits you hard. You are part of the Eye. Peak is right, but right now, that feels more like a weakness than a strength. I have set up a data relay on the cordon. It's neutral ground. Take the data and send it out to Havogen and the flotilla. Once they receive it, they will come. We can be sure of that. You will meet them there and take them through it all. No one could do a better job. They tuck a strand of hair behind their ear. Come with me. Peak pauses. I can't. It would only draw suspicion on you. Havogen want nothing to do with us, and Sol is paranoid at best. Peak tentatively puts a hand on your shoulder. Thank you, Sleeper. I know this is hard, but we have to move forward. We can't keep this to ourselves anymore. They step back, looking thin and pale in the harsh station light. Come talk to me once it's done, and they slip away into the Eye. Alright. So what exactly does this entail? There's no active drives. Okay. So that means we're at the point where we can start, we just need to start the deal, this last DLC. Alright. I assume? I guess it's this one? The Cordon? Oh, okay. Warning, final episode. The second part of the flotilla story is complete. Episode Purge. The final episode will begin when the clock below is complete. Good luck. I guess this? Pegasus Relay lies ready. This is it. That is a ticking time bomb. Once it is sent, there is no going back. I would think it would be two. One for the flotilla and then one for Havogen, right? I would think. I mean, we're as ready as we can be, really. Okay. Data flux data sent. -5 flux data. Okay. But the data sent, the only thing to do is wait. As you do, you imagine Helena receiving the data, perhaps in the middle of some Havogen council meeting. You think of her trembling hands as she slips out of the room to read it. Her reaction, you can't predict. You imagine Sol, too, one of his crew finding him in some corridor of the Pilgrim Seed, overseeing the modifications that will turn it into an ark. Those sharp eyes scanning the data, looking for a way to proceed. The wait draws out, and to pass the time, you watch the activity behind the edge of the Eye, the scrap shuttles pulling components. I guess that's the music. It almost sounded like someone running or something. The scrap shuttles pulling components from the now abandoned Cordon, and the supply skiffs making runs between the flotilla ships. It isn't long before you hear the chirping of one of Helena's new familiar drones approaching the viewing platform. Then Helena herself strides into the room. Where did you get this, Sleeper? Helena holds up a slate scrolling with the streams of flux data as she enters. I need to know your source. A friend. You seem to have a lot of friends, Sleeper. Helen raises an eyebrow, but I need the data authenticated. I can't just... She pauses and pushes her hair back out of her face. This is a lot to take in. A shadow protocol inside the flux. The system's CAN channel starting up. A total collapse of the Eye. She rubs her forehead. If I bring this to the council, they'll... She turns away. They'll believe you. She laughs. Do you know what has been happening within Havogen, Sleeper? She looks away out of the flotilla. Since the refugee ships started arriving, things have changed. It's chaos. No one can settle on a single issue. There is a division at every note. But in the division, only one group prospers, the hardliners. Because as each counselor gets tired of the arguments, gets tired of compromise, they become more attracted to the easy answers. The flotilla is to blame. The refugees are opportunists. The Eye must be defended. She shakes her head. And now you are telling me that they brought something to the Eye that will cause the collapse? They didn't bring it. It doesn't matter, Sleeper. This is all the council will hear. She closes her eyes and hand to her temple. Many of them already presume that the refugees are somehow to blame. Someone say refugees? Sol clanks into the docking bay, grinning at the situation. Speak of the devil, and well, here I am. His suit hisses as he settles on his cane. Lena glances between the two of you, uncertain if she has been drawn into some elaborate plan. Sol holds out a hand to her. Sol, he nods. I believe we have spoken remotely while the cordon was still up. I sent you both the data. She laughs. Well, thank you. He raises an eyebrow. Evidence of our mutual and inevitable destruction is not much of an olive branch, but I'll take it. I'm not Havogen, Helena blurts out, then corrects herself. What I mean is to say is no one person represent Havogen. That's the idea. I did not support the cordon. I do not support your quarantine. Sol nods. Well then, Sol glances at you. Anyone mind if I get myself up to speed here? He pauses. We get the feeling he isn't expecting an answer. 1. The Flux events. They were the very same destabilizing waves that collapsed the colonies and the moods of Ember have reached the station. He holds up a stubby finger. 2. According to the data Sleeper provided, these events are acting as a cover for some kind of intrusive protocol which is causing the real damage. A second finger joins the first. 3. This shadow protocol will do the very same thing it did to the Ember Song, Step, and Hearth, and quickly. In short, it'll shut down everything keeping this place alive. A third finger pops up. 4th, and this is my favorite, we have no idea who or what is doing this and why. Sal's final finger joins the other 3. Is that about the total of it? There's also another flux coming. Of course there is, Sol smiles thinly. Sounds, Lena pauses, searching for words, intimidating? Turns to Sal. Did you manage to put up any kind of resistance on Ember's Hearth? Joel shakes his head. That's why we were here. The Pilgrim Seed was the biggest ship to make it out unscathed. He pauses. I suppose we didn't have this data. We didn't know what was eating up the systems. We all thought it was the flux. And it looks at you. And I imagine you, Sleeper, and whoever helps you uncover this might be able to figure out a countermeasure. We can try. Helena nods approval. Okay, so that's the start of it. If you'll forgive me, Sol cuts in. Part of why I was able to save as many as I could on Ember's Hearth was that I gave up hope early. Al sits his weight, his suit hissing. There were endless strategy meets, system reboots, tests, and trials, but I just got on with working on the Pilgrim Seed, getting people on board, so when the second and third and the rest of the Flux events hit, we were ready to go. So if I can offer you some advice, Miss Not Havogen, it is to give up on that line of thought you have, that hope, and start the evacuation now. Right this cycle. She looks out the observation deck towards the Pilgrim Seed. I've already started the process of converting the remaining volume of the Pilgrim Seed for human habitation. With Havogen's resources, I dare say we could finish the job with time to spare. Sol scratches at his beard. I know it's hard, I know it's sudden, but you have to give up hope. We have to run. There will be no heroes here, just those that keep living and those that don't. He listens in silence, making calculations. She looks out at the bulk of the Pilgrim Seed, which, despite all its vastness, is dwarfed by the eye as a whole. Something flickers in her eye. She opens her mouth to speak. She stops, frozen. Let me think. Helena runs her temple. I need a moment. Helen paces, and as you watch her, you realize how young she is and how lost she is in the system and protocol she has to navigate. You can almost see the strings and ties that bind her, glinting like webs in the wide space of the observation platform. I think we can beat it. I'm friends with 2 of the AIs that run this place, and we still have in my back pocket a murder robot. Like, we actively chose to keep a murder AI that we can use on literally this if we wanted to. That's why I chose to keep it, in case we needed an unstoppable killing machine. We have one of those, and we need it right now. It just saddened me that there's a really good chance the AI thing isn't ever going to come up. It's never going to come up that I'm friends with 2 different AIs in this ship who are, like, in control of 50 and 50% of the ship, you know? We purged the Shadow Protocol. Stop spacing. But what the resources? The data you sent me? This thing is a shadow. Uncontrollable. Untraceable. Perhaps with a full contingent of the Havogen Systems Department, but that would require hundreds of work orders to be overlooked. Maintenance schedules abandoned. She looks away. Getting that through the council, would that even be possible? She glances at Sol, who is patiently watching and patiently listening. You have to try. We do it without them. Impossible. Helena looks at the slate. I will take this to the council, force them to listen, force them to act. Your bills jump at someone loudly clears their throat nearby. Your eyes jump to the dark entry way that Helena emerged from just minutes ago. It's gotta be Cecil or whatever his name is. Oh no, this is a new person. What a cozy little meeting this is. A man steps from the shadows, dressed in the same style of Havogen overalls as Helena. I must say, this is some very incendiary rhetoric you are using, Counselor Helena. You glance at Helena and her face drops immediately. Kemp? She curses under her breath. Joel shifts his weight on the cane, but otherwise remains still, like a casual observer. Plotting against Havogen with an interloper, he gestures at Saul. Everyone will be disappointed. Kemp smiles at a bright smile. Some of the counselors had such high hopes for our youngest member. Smile drops. I, of course, never let novelty distract from the importance of experience. Helen stares daggers at Kemp. Enough of this petty stuff, Kemp. You need to see this. She holds out her slate with an outstretched arm. Modules are over. No more point scoring. No more lobbying. You and your hardliners need to stop. This is something real. Kemp calmly takes the slate and prods the screen. Scrolling through the flux data, his face portrays nothing, but you can see some complex calculations flicking in his sharp eyes. Kemp lowers the slate slowly and smiles at Lena. And what do you think this shows? Frowns. Don't play modules. You can read. The flux is a carrier signal for some shadow protocol, most likely corporate in nature. Maybe it's Solheim re-emerging to claim their station. Maybe it's a takeover, but either way, the station's under threat. You're right about that, but the rest? Conjecture. Kemp rubs his chin. What we have is a virus in our systems, which emerges precisely when the flotilla arrived. In fact, it times perfectly with the mysterious events that freed them. Freed them? So what I see is a hostile cyber warfare attack, instigated by dissidents that fled Ember's moon after committing terrorist attacks on their own soil. Kemp's face darkens. This is the order of the facts, nothing more and nothing less. Okay. Facts I'll be happy to present in council. Kemp tightens his grip on the slate. And that's the only copy of that data, you sanctimonious jerk? No, I don't, Kemp smiles, but who do you think they will listen to, Helena? Especially after I tell everyone about this little clandestine meeting. You couldn't win power by Havogen's system, by our law, so you resort to this? Kemp shakes his head. The law is with me. It's as simple as that, he gestures, and out of the shadows, 2 Havogen's security officers appear. Now, no need for that, Sol suddenly speaks up. His silent had meant Kemp had stopped paying attention to him, but now you notice he has his backup on his own. Wait, what? Now you notice he has backup of his own. A group of crew stand at the edges of the room. They are carrying long, boxy guns. Okay. You've never seen anything like them on the eye. Glossy XPR logos glint along their barrels. These are Eshi's guns. Guns? She had explosives. Kemp freezes, and the officers hesitate, holding back their doorway. Be careful there, outsider, he stutters. Kill me and Havogen will never forget. Sol waves a hand at him. No one is killing anyone, so let's calm down. Sol scratches his beard. But I am going to have to ask you to leave. Ellen glances at him and gives her a gentle nod. And you'll leave your colleagues here with me, he raises an eyebrow. We haven't finished our conversation. Kemp laughs, shakes his head. You're finished, Helena. The council will never allow you to back after this. Then he turns and walks out of the observation deck, taking his officers with him. You all pause to catch your breath. Helena looks ready to collapse. Sol flexes inside his suit, nodding at the crew to check that Kemp has fully retreated. Sol wrenches part of the suit back into place, grimacing. Your friends leave a lot to be desired, he shoots a glance at Helena. Seems like support for the evacuation might be a hard ask. Helena doesn't respond. She stares out at the pilgrim seed once more, trying to process what's in front of her. She sighs and turns back to you both. I won't call for an evacuation, she looks at Sol. Maybe that is a fatal mistake, but I can't do it. I understand. But, she pauses, I won't block it either. If people want to leave, Havogen will let them. This is what I will propose to the council, she sighs, if they let me speak. You have to try. She nods at you and Sol and turns to leave. Sol is quiet. He scratches his beard. Good luck. He offers the departing Helena, but she does not respond. He leans on his cane. I'll be honest with you, Sleeper. None of this changes anything for me. The pilgrim seed will be going in a handful of cycles, whether Havogen wants it or not. How long? Grimace says, honestly, as soon as we are ready, I'm not eager to run down the clock to the last cycle. Sol puts a hand on your shoulder. There's a berth for you and for any you can gather, Sleeper. That much I owe you. And Helena? I wouldn't hold out much hope of her coming around, Sleeper. She's too tied up in all this. It won't let her leave even if she wants to. He eyes you. Heck, I'd say the same about you, but you have a habit of proving me wrong. My crew will take me from here. Don't you worry. Sol straightens up. Crew will take me from here. What? Oh, and thank you, Sleeper, for sending the data. I appreciate the extra info. And I'll see if I can help shore up the program seed against any future flux events. If we had your back on Ember's Hearth... If we had you back on Ember's Hearth, he pauses, suddenly losing his appetite for discussing the past. Soul sighs. Of course, we're going to need all the help we can get. If you can spare some time, come to the Pilgrim Seed. Help me get it ready. Bring others. There's a future to be earned here, cycle by cycle. We'll be leaving as soon as we are able. If you want to help us get there faster, well, you'd be welcome. He meets your eyes. Soul grimaces. Well, he pauses, just don't keep me waiting, and he glimpses off towards his waiting crew. You pause for a moment to let your thoughts catch up. Peak will want to hear about this. They should be your first port of call. Okay. Interesting. So we had our first unsuccessful kind of meetup between these two. What I'm curious though, with this Kemp guy, let him be the antagonist, that's fine. Oh. Evacuate the eye. The flotilla is leaving with anyone who wishes to join them, but they need to help if they want to leave before the flux hits. Help the Pilgrim Seed. Okay, so we're actively just helping them. Interesting. So we're not even helping, like, the eye do anything to get ready for this? That's kind of crazy. All right. Because the problem with Kemp is he's turning this into the flotilla is the villains, and they need to be kicked off the eye. Okay? But then what? Like, then what do you do? If you still have this virus that you don't know if you can contain that's going to destroy where you live and everyone else lives, you still have a problem. Kicking the bad people out isn't going to solve your problem. I don't understand why they don't see this. I understand that you hate, I don't know, outsiders or whatever your problem is. Sure, Kemp. I don't know how a space station primarily adapted from abandoned systems where a bunch of people have come together somehow doesn't accept outsiders suddenly when it seems like the vast majority of people in this place are outsiders. I don't know if this is meant to be some sort of take on the US or something, and I don't know if it's that deep or if I'm overthinking it, but like, it's a station of refugees from other places, and now he's saying that the refugees are evil, which doesn't make any sense. From everything we've learned, from everyone we've talked to, the vast majority of them seem to have come from other places and ended up here when things went bad for them in other places. This is the place you end up when you flee from someplace else. Whether it's something you did was wrong or something someone else did to you was wrong, you end up here because you were fleeing. And now, for some strange reason, the flotilla of people who are leaving where they came from is the bad people. I know it's got to be that they're trying to tell a story. Like, they're trying to use the U.S. or something as a version of that. But it's just coming off as kind of lazy writing. I don't know. I don't know. For me personally, so like fleeing into taxes? So like Cali fleeing into taxes? Oh, Texas. Kind of. The difference is here, though, that people are leaving Cali because they don't like the politics of California. And they're going to Texas because they like the politics of Texas and it's cheaper to live there. In this case, these people are fleeing from where they're from because the place is literally dying, like, is being wiped off the map. It's more of like a war refugee story than it is just like a socio-economical story, I think. So I think it's a little deeper than that, but it's not unsimilar. It's not unsimilar. I think the problem, though, is that this is, I think, more of a two different countries kind of thing than it is one state to another state. I think this is supposed to be more of a representation of, like, people from Mexico coming to the U.S. or, you know, war refugees from wherever's under war in the moment. You know, lots of places right now, fleeing into more stabilized places. And I think it's just kind of an amalgamation of different concepts like that they're trying to play with. It just comes off as a little silly. They're trying to tell a story, but they don't have the right setting, in this case this, for that kind of story. I don't think. But that's their choice, I guess. I'm gonna go check and see if there's anything else going on in the main part of the station to see if I need to do anything else. Like, why can't we talk to Castor? He's a master level hacker who has information connected to all of the different parts of the station. Why can't we talk to Yadigen? Yadigen has a lot of control over large parts of the station. Why can't we talk to any of our 2 AI friends who have control of parts of the station? It just keeps assuming that we're on the lowest run in the totem pole and we don't know anybody. But we know lots of very powerful people now. We know the people in charge of Yadigen. We know the AI that's in charge of 2/3 of the eye. We know the AI in charge of the other third of the AI, who has a lot of power in and of themselves in a separate kind of way. We have so much influence over this station now, and yet it keeps talking like we don't. It's really weird. They keep stealing our capability, and I don't really care for that. Like right now, when I take this elevator up to the hub, or whatever they call this, Bliss's Bay, the car, and the capsule we don't need, and the gimbal lounge. While we're up here, we should 100% be able to talk to our AI friend and be like, hey, are you okay? Our system is being invaded by some kind of, like, I don't know, virus. You're an AI who lives in the system. Do you need help? Are you okay? But we can't. I don't know why we can't. We just can't. And I know, I guess they're trying to plan around that maybe you didn't get those endings or whatever. Or you're not in that point in the story and you don't know about that, I guess. But I feel like you could just set up a couple of flag trips to change how that goes. I don't know. As you enter the climbing briar, you immediately have to jump aside as Eshi, lugging a massive crate across the cargo bay, pushes past you, grunting an apology as she does. Stay silent, grunt back. Reminds me of when we met. As she sniffs and doesn't look back. As you turn back to the bay, Peak pushes past too. Sorry, Sleeper, just a second. Peak rushes to catch up with Essie. Put that down, please, Eshi. But she doesn't respond to their urging. We can't leave, not yet. Peak puts a hand on your shoulder. Please, I'm the only one here who can. The crate drops, the sound of the impact echoing around the bay like thunder. Can do what, Peak? Her eyes are burning with anger. Save this place? Are you still that naive? You're running, Peak. You're running because this thing cannot be stopped. It couldn't be stopped by XPR, our home. Why would we stay to stop it here? Because we can, Ashley. We can give these people a chance, Peak pleads with her. Like they give the refugees a chance? As she shakes her head. No, Peak, this is not on us. We barely made it out of XPR. I worked for years to escape, and now you want to throw it all away? I left everything behind. My mother, my friends, to take you out of that place. She clenches her jaw. Turns and slams her hand on the crate, breathing hard. We go. That's the end of it. Peak turns away. You feel unsure what to do, but you know, now is not the time for outside arguments. This is between them. He crosses the bay back towards you. I'm sorry you had to see that, Sleeper, they sigh. Let's talk upstairs. Peak leads up to the entry ladder, taking you up on the bay and into the habitation level of the ship. You follow them through the tight corridors, noticing the handwritten notes, the clutter, the repairs, the signs of a home. Here, sit. Peak gestures to the broad mess wait. To the... what? Peak gestures to the broad mess table with its curved couches, and you slide in on one side. They must mean mess in like mess hall? That is... that's not good shorthanding for that. Peak gestures to the broad mess table. That is a very specific description, and I don't think mess table is really a good way of describing it. With its curved couches, and you slide in on one side. Peak sits opposite. They brush their hair out of their eyes and take a deep breath. So, how did it go? What did they say? I've been waiting all cycle. I guess we tell them about Helena? I think we'll start with Helena. Or Helene, or whatever I would call her. Peek listens nervously as you explain how Helene said she will support our efforts to find a countermeasure for the Shadow Protocol. Okay. Peek looks pleased. That sounds good, much better than I was hoping, but what about the Council? Are they behind that? Or will she operate alone? Tell them about Klimp. Peek looked increasingly troubled as you tell them about the hardline Counselor Kemp's sudden appearance. Dang. Then Helena's gonna have problems of her own to deal with. Peek shakes her head. It's like we won't be able to count on anything from Havogen. They pause. Let's stop Kemp from arresting her. Tell them about the guns. Peek rolls their eyes. Of course, those are the guns Eshy managed to smuggle through to the refugees. The ones she didn't tell us about. Peek sighs. Another thing that's on us. What's on us? Eshy is standing quietly in the doorway listening. You don't know how long she's been there. He looks up at her with her tired eyes. Sleeper found the weapons you'd smuggled from XPR. As he freezes, she glances between you and Peek as if this might be some elaborate joke. The flotilla used them? As she moves out of the doorway and enters the room. What happened? Peek interrupts. Be thankful that they didn't. They used them as a threat, that is all. Good, as she folds her arms. You feeling that she knows Peek will not approve. Peek goes to speak and then decides not to take the bait. They glance at you. I'm sure you've heard enough of us arguing this cycle, Sleeper. Peek shoots a look at Eshy. But our introduction of those weapons into the equation are just another reason why we cannot simply run away. Eshy looks away, but says nothing. She surely knows that they cannot absolve themselves of responsibility here. So what is motivating her? You realize that she still might be trying to protect Peek, even from themselves. Suddenly a shrill beeping fills the room and Peek pulls out their slate to silence it. As they do, they freeze, their fingers hovering above the screen. The beeping continues, in insistent pulses. What? Peek doesn't seem to hear you. They blink with glazed eyes at the slate, then they let a long exhale and tap the screen. The bleeping shuts off, leaving a ringing silence behind. Eshy frowns at Peek, planning to explain. 12 cycles. Peek looks vacantly up at you. 12 cycles until the next flux event. They shake their head. I've been using the arrays on the Briar to look towards the center of the system to approximate when the can channel should be. Where the can channel should be. Just this moment they detected a signal from the inner system. Given the distance and pattern of the previous flux events, we have 12 cycles before it reaches the eye. The silence in the room is deafening. 12 cycles, that's it, before a second wave hits in this place. Peek interrupts your thoughts. We start now, that's the end of it. Peek stands up to face Eshy. You want to take the Briar and run, Eshy? That's on you, but I won't do it. They take a deep breath. I'll be here, Sleeper, for every cycle it takes trying to find a solution. I'll need your help. Their eyes meet yours, and you see a wild desperation flickering there. We will find something. The sooner we have a plan, the better. If it takes 12 cycles to fix this thing, it'll be too late. Peek's eyes flash with determination. They reach for a slate and pass it to you, so you can keep it in touch. You pocket the thin, handheld terminal. And Eshy, Peek starts, but she is gone, storming down the corridors of the ship on a path to who knows where. You know from experience that it is impossible to outrun your fears, but you get a sense that Eshy will try anyway. Peek rubs their red eyes, staring after Eshy. Maybe I'll take a moment before we start. They smile weakly, tears of exhaustion gathering in their eyes. See you back here soon, okay? And you slip from the room into the corridor. Peek's quiet sobs somehow carrying through the ship behind you as you leave. Okay. All the lurkers, of course, thank you. You have the Twitch roll go around. We always appreciate you. Anybody who checks the VODs here on Twitch or checks the VODs on the YouTube repository, thank you. It's greatly appreciated. Seeing those numbers help keep me motivated. If you need a well-thought-out solution, you need a thinking solution. Raven Hilbert Inc. Thinking Solutions. And I think that'll be it. Yeah. Bye.